Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the second webinar of this morning. To those of you who are in the first webinar, thank you for sticking with me into the second one. And to those of you who are tuning in for the first time this morning, as we did in the morning session, feel free to drop in a question in the chat bubble if you have any questions about any of the stuff we're going to be going over this morning. For this webinar, I'm going to go over different ways to mass communicate with your leads, and something that I said in the first session. Just be mindful of some of the newer laws and regulations that are out right now in our current state of emergency. I know that some of the stuff we're going to be going over today is a little bit of a refresher for things in the current climate. But just kind of be mindful that some of the different regulations are active now, and you don't have the same capabilities that you might have had a couple months ago when things were a little bit more stable. I know, for example, I saw one of our agents posting about a new rule that you're not able to cold call anymore. So you must stick with emails and texts. But also, please, before you do anything, double check those rules and make sure that you're following all the necessary compliances. But also know the rules, but use this time to continue to enhance your skills for your hands-on skills on digitally communicating with all of your contacts. So today, that's what we're going to go over. We're going to go over different ways to mass communicate with your contacts, and how you can use this time to really dial in and organize your automated communication with your contacts. So before we start really looking at the different ways to do that, I was explaining that it's so important to keep your CRM organized. And what I mean by that is it's so important to have your contacts properly labeled and sorted into the necessary statuses and hashtags. So I'm just going to quick pull up my CRM just for some test purposes, and I'll kind of show you a little bit about what I mean. So it's important to have your contacts tagged, and also with the necessary status of whether they're a buyer or a seller, and then with their status of being a prospect, you can change that too. You can change from prospect to sphere, new lead, active lead, client, anything like that. You can also mass change your contacts. So if you say this guy, this one all need to be moved to my sphere, you click on this more actions button up here, change status, and then you change it to your sphere that way, update status, and they're all done just like that automatically. See, just like that. So it's important to go through before you really start scheduling off some of these mass contacts. Just make sure that your CRM is organized. And kvCORE does such a great job of giving so many different options to keep your sphere organized. And really, it only benefits you to do this. So do it however you want, however you feel like it'll be the most beneficial to you, and go with it. And just stick with it to keep everything consistent, keep everything properly identified. And then you can go, and I'll show you why that's so important, because it'll make your life so much easier. So I see before I jump in, I see we have a couple new people that have joined. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions about any of the stuff we're going to be going over, please drop a question in the chat, and or if you have any tips about anything that I'm saying and you want to share it with the whole group, drop it in the chat and I'll share it with everyone, and we'll move on from there. So today we're just going to be talking about ways to mass contact your leads, and you can do that from here in your smart CRM. So that's one way. I have some of the leads selected here. If you wanted to send all of your contacts a email, you just click this box next to the name, you hit mass email, and then you would send the message here. Now, please be mindful that kvCORE, I only have 6 leads in here. These are just all test leads. They're all people, Erica, Elizabeth, these were all people from a different training session that we just put in to kind of use as examples. But many of you have several pages of leads. Be mindful that you can only do up to 100 at a time. So if you show 100 leads and you want to send everyone a mass email, this is just one way to do it. This is not the best way to do it. You'd have to go to the next page and do the next 100. I'll show you a much better way to do this in a minute, but this is, you can contact through your CRM with this mass email and the mass text option here. Now, another way you would do this is if you wanted to send it to just a hashtag. Let's say you want to send it to only people in Elma. You would just type in your hashtag Elma. And then you get all your Elma people here. You select them all, email them. That's one thing that CRM offers, is you can email just a particular hashtag from here. Something you can also do is you can continue to filter out. You can filter. You might say, I want to just email my sphere right now. Go to you can just have it show just your sphere. Select all, email. So that's one way to do it. You might also say, I want to email all of my buyers. Whoops. So I'm gonna go back into my filter. And I have to make sure that I have just myself showed. There we go. And I want it to show my my buyers. This is going to be in lead details. Buyer, apply filter. And so I have all my buyer leads right here. You'd select all, send out an email. So this is how you could send all contacts just as one-offs to your CRM. And you can just filter it out that way. Many of you already know this, but this is just a one way to email or text all of your clients of a particular status. Now, I'm just going to reiterate how important it is to keep your CRM organized. And this time, while we're kind of forced to be indoors, is a great time to go in and really organize your CRM. Many agents I've met with have said, I need to do this. This is what I have to do. I just have not had the time to do it. And that's great, because we love when people are busy. Now is a time that we're all kind of forced to really get organized. And this is a perfect way to get the most out of this tool that is designed for organization. So we can make the most of this uneasy, uncomfortable situation. Next, okay, so we went over ways to communicate through your CRM. Let's go into the marketing autopilot. So marketing autopilot, this is where you have your options for all of your contacts to be mass communicated with. We have our smart campaigns. We have our behavioral automation, our search alerts. We have the birthdays and anniversaries, this is another thing that you should go in and really dial in. That was a previous webinar that we did. But today, let's real quick before we go into smart campaigns, we're gonna go into schedule mass emails. I'm gonna click schedule an email. So many people are looking to stay in touch with their contacts during this uneasy situation, and they want to drop in a note about, that they're facing it head on, that they wish everyone to be safe. this is a way to do that. And you can type your message in here, or you can select one of your previously created templates. You drop your message in here, and you can send it to you can send it to a filtered, a saved filter within your CRM if you have those, or you can send it to just a hashtag, or you send it to a lead status. So you want to send this to maybe just your sphere. You can also send it out to your new leads and also your clients. You can only send this, you can only schedule a mass email to go out to 3 statuses at a time. So you could schedule out twice to go out to your other statuses, like if you also want to include your prospects. It doesn't matter. But this is how you would do that for a particular status. So you type out your message. You can even do it in the advanced email editor as well. And then you just you put in a subject line that says something like thinking of you, or something along those lines. You type out your when to send it. So you want to go out today, you can have it go out at noon, and then it'll go right out. So that is the schedule mass email feature. If you have any questions about that, drop it in the chat. But it's pretty simple, pretty standard. You can have it include your signature as well, which is helpful. And yeah, we'll go from there. So the next thing we'll go over is marketing autopilot. And so, okay, so, I'm sorry, not marketing autopilot. We're going to go over smart campaigns. So quickly, as you all know, kvCORE has several different default campaigns in here that they've created for you for all different types of lead situations. So you've got a default new seller lead campaign, a default new buyer lead campaign, things like that. So what you could do is you go into this new lead. So say you want to do a new buyer lead campaign. You can look at all the touch points that your leads will be getting from you. So you see it's got calls, it's got texts, it's got emails. Again, I would just say be mindful of some of the new rules and regulations with some of this stuff. Of course, with calls, no call will go out on your behalf. It'll be simply kvCORE will ding you that you have a call due to make that day, and then you would make that call manually. But again, just please be mindful of some of the newer laws that have been put in place. But anyway, you now have time to kind of go through and design some of these campaigns to really help you out with your lead follow-up. So what you would do is, you see this default new buyer lead campaign. If you want to apply that to your current leads, what you would do is you would just activate it. Let's say you aren't thrilled with some of these touch points. You think it's too much, or you think it's too little. You want to add more emails or texts, whatever your preference is. You'd hit this clone button, and then you would design the campaign that way. Like for this one, this is you don't have to change any of these settings because they're already done for you. So you would just continue on, hit next. These are for buyer leads. You can change it to something that lets you know that this is it's got the copy here, so you know that it's a new buyer lead campaign that you have edited, but you can change it to something that makes it more unique to you. That's your preference. I'm going to leave it just default new buyer lead copy. And you might decide you want it to always run, or you want it to stay locked. I might lock it or leave it unlocked so that I can continue to add to it or change it. Hit next. I'm going to clone the campaign. And what it's doing when it clones it, that just gives you the capability to it gives you the capability to edit it, to change it, because kvCORE doesn't want you directly editing the campaign that it's designed. It wants you to just duplicate it and then edit from there. So here you now have the freedom to go in and take out or change some of these touch points. This first buyer email, you can say, what does that say? View template. Thanks for checking out my site. Are you looking to buy soon or just browsing? And then you might say, I like that. I'll keep it. This one, you might say day 2, call and don't leave a voicemail. I don't want that. I'm just going to take out that. I don't want that touch point. So then it's removed. Day 2, they are scheduled to get a text that says, are you an investor? I might say that doesn't really apply. I don't really like working with people like, I don't work with people like that very often. I'm just going to remove it. And you might say, okay, well, day 2, I need something for day 2, so I'm going to add a text message. You go to SMS. You would say check-in. You just need to name it something. And you can see all these text templates that they have. Let's say which properties you like. And then it could say, like, out of all the properties I've sent you, has anything caught your eye? If not, we can adjust the criteria. Give me a call. I'd say, okay, I like that. I'm going to add that. Oh, you got to put in. You might have to. You don't have to say, I want this on day 2. And say, I want this on day 2. Add it. Now with these templates, you can't directly edit them from this page here. You'll have to edit them from the templates tab up here. So it is a little robust and complicated, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions or anything like that in regards to some of this stuff. So now I'm going to take a couple. We have a couple chat questions right now. Danielle says, "Are we able to copy their verbiage and paste it in their clone version and edit it, or just adjust what we want to say?" You can, yeah. So what happens is when you clone the template, or when you clone the campaign, all the templates go in automatically. So you already have their verbiage. But if you wanted to change what you wanted to say, you'd have to clone a template in the templates tab here, and then apply that new cloned template to your campaign. So let's just do an example here. This post call email 1. I'm going to clone this, and I'm just going to change it. I'll say I don't like the way this says. I might want to add something like thinking of, or something along the lines of, I just want to add, I am always happy to hear from my clients, no matter the time or day. Now I just want to update that. I'm gonna save this as initial post call email. Just something a little bit different so that I know what it's saying. And then the subject is going to say, like, great hearing from you, or I'd like to hear from you. Or something like that. But yeah, it keeps in most of their stuff, and I can just change it if I want to. I might want to change this to hello. It doesn't matter. However you like to write it. I want to include my signature. I'm going to hit clone. So it clones a template. It just changes it, or it duplicates it, allows me to change it, and then I can save it as something new. Now I want to apply this to my campaign. I'm going to go back into the campaign that I was just working on. I believe it was the new buyer lead copy. That is not it. Here it is. Default new buyer campaign. now I'm going to want to add that email in there. So I'm going to add an email, and then I'm going to put it on day 2. Post call day 2 template. Oh, what did I save it as? Oh, post call email 1. Nope. My goodness, I completely forgot it. I just drew a blank. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I'm so sorry. This is why it's good to kind of do this more mindfully than what I was just doing. So what was it? I do remember my it was post something right here. Initial post call email. There we go. Goodness. I'm so sorry. Now, again, as another reminder that this is a live webinar, and parts of doing all this stuff is learning how to problem solve. And sometimes your own biggest problem is just yourself, as we all know. Sometimes we get in our own way a lot. Okay, so default new buyer lead copy. That is the one we are working on. And I want to add that email. I'm going to add it. I'm going to name this post call day 2 template. It was initial post call email. There it is. And view it. There it is. There's my template. I want this to be day 2. There it is. Okay, so that's your campaign. Go in, you can kind of edit it, create your adjust your templates as you like, and then yeah, apply your campaign. You might need to go in and manually apply your campaign, but that is you might need to go into your CRM and manually add your leads to the campaign, but you can do that through your mass actions, as we did with changing your statuses. So that's all I have to go over right now with all that. If you have any questions about applying some of that stuff, please let me know. We have a couple of Q&A questions here. Yes, Danielle, we can definitely set up we'll set up a private call. I will same thing as everyone. If everyone wants to set up a private one-on-one, please let me know and we'll set up a time either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. But I will be sending out the links for tomorrow morning's webinars, and then go from there. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and then we will talk again soon. Have a nice day.